Now, I don't know how long this is going to be because I'm not allowed to know. For once, I've been hindered in studying and understanding. But I'm going to share with y'all what I've got to see if y'all can get slapped down like I did.
Is this where we need to put like the patent in our britches?
Nope. Nope. Okay.
I'm just glad to know. I really am. I'm just glad to know that people still use the term britches.
Yeah.
That makes me feel
On the bridge.
If y'all would join me in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10.
Where?
2 Corinthians chapter 10. One of the true great things I found about God's Word is how deep it can go, how it connects to everything, and how sometimes just one or two little words can hold you, slap you, kick you in the teeth, and get your mind right. In verse 3, it starts, "We are human, but we do not wage war as humans do. We use God's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy false arguments. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ." Those three verses are all I'm allowed. And that's all I've been able to get my mind to. No matter where else I try to go, I'm not allowed. So when God's trying to restrict you to something, do you think He's trying to show you something?
I think there's a healthy thought.
Okay. So verse 3 starts off simply as a reminder. We are humans. But have you ever stopped lately to understand and remember what that means? What does it mean to be human?
we're still confined to these bodies.
These bodies, which means what? We're still a physical person under physical understanding. Sight, sound, touch.
Yeah, but not confined to physical understanding.
No?
Because the Spirit of God
Reveals.
spiritual understanding.
But with all the temptations of the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because of our brain.
Is it?
Yep.
What do you call a person who has an inability in their sight, their hearing, or their touch? They're disabled, ain't they? Handicapped. So a person, as a human, can be different than somebody else. Personally, I believe a blind man can see more than me any day of the week. I'm blinded to my eyes, they're blinded from their eyes. I have a sister, she married a blind man. I tell him all the time he's faking it. Well, he's a diesel repair technician, an auto repair technician, and on the property he grew up on, he can still drive. I think it's doing pretty good. But as a human, we have to see things in a way we can understand them until God shows us something else, right? As a physical person, we understand what it is to wage war as humans do. We can get mouthy, we can get loud, we can get physical. But this says we don't wage war as we understand in the human mind. We don't wage war as humans do. Now it says we use God's mighty weapons. Now, who here has seen them? Who here has picked up God's mighty weapons? Yep, the book, the Bible. So, how do you use it?
Attack in the right hand, defense in the left.
And for those of y'all who have difficulty understanding that, I truly encourage you to pick up a wooden sword and shield and get in a fight. Just so you understand what it is they're talking about Because until you experience some things, it's hard to understand. But do you know how to use this book? Do you know how to use faith? Use prayer? I guess something all of us have to work on, ain't it? It says we have to knock down strongholds of human reasoning. Well, that's kind of not peaceful, is it? Knock something down? But how do you knock down a human reasoning?
Have your mind renewed.
Every day. There it is again. But whose reasoning are you having to knock down?
My own, usually.
Yeah.
It starts there. Then what's the next step? Somebody else's.
Yeah, those around.
Because it doesn't ever say that we stop. We knock down strongholds of human reasoning. Oh, wait a minute. Where does it say we stop? It says, and destroy false arguments.
What it's calling a stronghold. We realize what a stronghold is. A stronghold was built to protect you from attacks. So human reasoning, if you allow it to grow, it will protect against spiritual attacks.
Yep.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? And those attacks will be from God. If you trust your human reasoning, you're fighting against God.
Yes. Which brings us to verse 5. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God. Fun
That
fact.
doesn't sound very nice, does it?
Well, here's a fun fact. An object is not proud. People are proud. In fact, proud, an object with multiple meanings. Most commonly, it means feeling very happy, pleased, or satisfied because of something you did, you own, or you are connected to. It also means having a self-respect or having an unpleasantly high opinion of yourself. Arrogance, vanity. But what about that word obstacle? It's an object or thing or a problem that stands in your way. It stops you from moving forward, from reaching a place or finishing a goal. That object can't be proud. A person can. Only people. So where do you need to destroy a person who's standing in the way? I find him in the mirror most of the time. How many times have your own pride, your own self been in the way of what God's been trying to do?
I've been raked over coals just this week alone.
Well, you know what? Here's our problem. Because we are listening to human reasoning of religion, we become that obstacle. We can't, listen, some things make sense to the human brain. And when people use human reasoning to tell how a body of believers should function, that becomes an obstacle to serving God. People don't even realize that. Listen, they think that because I think it's pretty cool that a lot of years ago, for a long time, Chrissy and I was talking about this the other day. In America, you had to be a landowner to vote.
Yep.
Y'all know that? And the reason was this. It was a young country, and they wanted the people that were making decisions of that country to be invested in the country. People who didn't want to invest in being in ownership, they could easily drag up, go wherever they want to go, do whatever they want to do. But they know if you're invested in it, you want it. And it's the same way, people try to teach this democracy, everybody gets a vote that's a citizen now. We've got lots of people that are citizens in this country that get a vote, and they're not invested in this country. They actually hate this country. They're fighting against this country, but they get a vote. And so, because that's the America we live in, a lot of churches have adopted that practice. Well, if you got your name on the roll, you get a vote. Well, that don't mean they're invested in the kingdom. That just means they got their name on the roll. That doesn't mean they want what God wants. They may have a personal agenda. But to human reasoning, that makes sense, right? But that's never, it's never shown to do that in the Bible.
Do you think you're a proud obstacle for somebody else? How many times does a person like the idea of being able to teach, share, but sometimes they forget and want people to look at them instead of God? A proud obstacle. A person who wants attention to stand in the way. Christ called them Pharisees hypocrites. They'd travel all over the place for one convert, then make them twice the son of the devil. Here's another question. Has anybody ever stood in your way from learning about God? Is that the way you've acted?
Hey, when I started preaching, the church that I attended in a men's meeting, it was brought up in there. Well, what about Scott preaching and going to all these other churches that are different from ours? Should he be doing that? Pastor at that time said, well, the Bible says go into the world, preach to every creature. So I would say if God's called to do that, he should do that. But religion, they were saying, you should, some of those people thought I should only go into
theirs
if they had the same sign on the door. Unless it just because the sign's on the door don't mean no practice. Those people practice and believe the sign. You don't know what's going on behind that. But that's what some of those people thought. You should only enter into that one that had the same sign on the door. And, hey, listen, so you're saying don't take the good news to those other people. How sad is that?
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's the call.
Whether it's out in the streets or behind a door, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
That's the call.
And it's not just in word.
Like Brother George came to me. They contacted him on Thursday night to start this ministry. I said, Brother, God opened that door. He's the one that wants you there. This is his calling on you. It doesn't matter where it is. If he calls you to share the gospel, he's going to open doors for you to do so. That's just, people ask me, how do you get these calls? Or how do you go into these churches? You call these people and say, can I come there? I said, no, I've never done that once. They call me and say, will you come? Same thing happened with George. He didn't call them and say, hey, can I come over there? They contacted him and said, will you come?
I wasn't looking for something else.
But that's why reputation matters.
Yes, that's right.
You have to represent God or nobody's going to be calling.
That's right.
Okay.
Amen.
I'll say this. Adrian Rogers, I think, said it the best. Christ did not practice what he preached. He preached what he practiced.
That's right.
Galatians 2:20. My old self has been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Sounds great, don't it? Feels great. But how many times that old self try to sneak back up, resurrect itself? Tries to become that proud obstacle once again. You've got this. You're doing great. You're so great. You're so great. You're so great. Doesn't sound like getting a humble attitude.
That's why we have to renew our minds.
Yes.
Well, hang on, because that's exactly where we go next.
Sorry.
Book of Luke, chapter 9, verses 23 and 24. The book of Luke, chapter 9, verses 23 and 24. Then he said to the crowd, if, that's your choice word, any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross daily, and follow me. 3 steps there, ain't it? Actually 4. You've got to make a choice. If that's what you want, that's what you got to do. What does it say there? Give up your way. Take up your cross daily and follow me. Not go before me. Not do it without me. Give up your way. Okay, if you give up your way, what way are you taking? Follow him. You take up your cross. He did. Daily. 33 years he walked this earth, knowing what had been going on the last 3. 3 years daily. He served. He preached. He spoke. He shared. He showed. One of the biggest things he showed was not about me, but about God. He always spoke that God sent him. The Father sent him, the one who sent him. He didn't speak his words, he spoke God's words. Don't look at me, look to God. Verse 24 says, if you hang on to your own life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. Now we can talk about Romans 12, is it? Living sacrifice. How do you become a living sacrifice? You give up yourself every day to live for somebody else, to live for something else. Every day you make that choice to deny yourself, to follow God, and not be the obstacle for somebody or even for yourself. Because personally, I'd love to be able to sleep in past 5 o'clock. I don't think I've done that in a long time. I'm doing good if I can sleep past 4. But it'd feel good, wouldn't it? Would it feel good to be able to relax and take a day off, do whatever you wanted? What then?
Called retirement. You have to busy yourself with good things, or your mind and everything else will go in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Because you've got too much time.
People don't realize it. That's a pretty dramatic lifestyle change.
It is.
It is.
It certainly is. Yeah.
Everybody thinks I can't wait for the day. And the day comes, you're like, hey, what do I do now?
The dog that caught the car. I've often wondered, if I'm this tired now, what's going to be like when I'm retired? But I don't want to worry about me, because I guarantee you, I've been nothing but a mess up and a hindrance to me every chance I've had. When I start wanting to feel lazy, well, I used to do a little, but a little wouldn't do it, so a little got to be more and more. I'll keep getting lazy. If I'm not willing to get up and get started, that means I'm going to give something up. I'm going to give up prayer time, study time, alone time. Because now I got to get busy. B-U-S-Y. Being under Satan's yoke. Once again, I'm in my own way, trying to seek God and serve God. Something that simple, and yet can cost me so much. Something as simple as being in a relationship and expect my way only all the time.
Yeah, that gets you far, doesn't it?
I don't know. I'm a hard-headed individual. I have no problem sleeping on floors, rooftops, or outside. And yes, Jennifer has been excessively mad at that idea. But what happens if you give up a little of something else for something you want? How much of God's grace and peace, His love, do you want to give up for yourself?
Look at it the other way. How much of the world are you willing to give up? You give up the world, that's that much more of God's peace that you get.
Guys, He says over in Luke 10 and 16, anyone who accepts your message is also accepting me. And anyone who rejects you is rejecting me. And anyone who rejects me is rejecting God who sent me. So, who's rejecting the message? Are you? Am I rejecting the message God gave me? Am I being so proud and arrogant, stupid, that I'm going to stand in the way of what God has given me? Fail to live out, not just speak it, but to live out a message for somebody else. People have been seeing Jennifer in bad shape, Megan in bad shape, a lot of family members in bad shape, even Hayden right now, bad health. And yet, they're curious how they can all take it so peaceably, how everything's still going. That obstacle is becoming a way to direct them to God. The message I've been given is the life I live, because I don't live it for me. I live it for somebody else. And guess what? That's exactly what Christ did for each one of us. Are you willing to do that for Him? Against proud obstacles. Get over here again. Yeah. It says we capture their rebellious thoughts. That's personal again, ain't it? Have you ever had to knock down your own thoughts, your own way of thinking, your own beliefs, your own feelings? Try to capture them and teach them to obey Christ?
But you know what, we talk about that, and sometimes we act like that's a difficult thing to do. But, I know when I started living with the Lord, man, I wanted that.
Yes.
I wanted His way. I wanted His life. I wanted His thinking. I wanted His leadership. So, now occasionally, there would be a conviction of something that, I remember the day He told me to quit dipping scope, I gave Him my resume. I'm like, hey, look, Lord, I quit drinking, I quit doing drugs, I quit chasing women, I quit going to parties, I quit doing, I quit, blah, 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 blah. And I asked Him, what do you want from me? And He answered me. He said, everything.
If any of you want to be my
For
follower.
the most part, it didn't bother me anymore. Not for another minute did it bother me then to do that. But for the most part, when He would be, I knew when I came to Him, I needed something different. I wanted something different. So, people that, and I know we all have our weaknesses. Listen, there's not one of us in this room probably that doesn't have at least one thing that, I don't care how long you've been living for the Lord, may still trip you up and be a battle,
At least.
At least one. That's right. So it could just be one. But you know what I'm saying? But the true sign that God is with you is that you're still in the battle.
Yes.
Right? If you quit fighting and you say, I give up, I'm just going to do whatever I want to, and there ain't no conviction, that shows you that God's not trying to grow you anymore.
But there are consequences.
There are consequences. That's right.
Yes.
But the idea is saying we capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ. Fun fact. You can't teach what you don't know. You can't do something you haven't learned how to do. If we capture rebellious thoughts, we have to start with our own, don't we? We have to teach ourselves to obey Christ, don't we? Goes back to that daily thing. Because, as Christ Himself said, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must what?
Deny yourself.
Give up your own way. First thing you got to do. Quit being that proud obstacle for yourself or somebody else, or for everybody else.
That gets to be harder when we live alone, doesn't it? Because we get set in our ways, and then somebody else comes around and wants to do it a different way. Well, dang. What makes that right?
We ain't going to go there.
I know what you're talking about.
So do I. So do I.
When you live alone, you really, you got your way of doing things. And I don't care who comes in the house, family, whoever, it just changes everything just because they're there. so I can't wait till they leave.
Either that or don't let anybody in your house. That's what I do.
I am very selective, I live behind a locked gate. Yeah.
Verse 6 even goes on to say, and after you have become fully obedient. So let me ask you this. Has anybody here actually become fully obedient to Christ, to God?
Closer than I was, but no.
Yep. It says we will punish everyone who remains disobedient. Now, that's a whole lot of people. That might even be me. And I'm pretty sure that can't happen until he comes back. So in between now and then, since none of us have become fully obedient, we still work every day to teach ourselves to be obedient, making sure we capture every thought. Don't let it grow, don't let it go. And we destroy ourselves. We give up ourselves. We give of ourselves for others. That's how we use God's mighty weapons, not worldly ones. We look to him and trust him in everything, for everything. It's called faith.
The more we do that, the easier it gets.
Yep.
It becomes a habit.
It says we don't wage war as humans do. You can start off in a nasty firefight, getting shot at, shooting back. Sometimes, just stop fighting. Let God take control. See what he'll do for you, what he'll do with you and in you. And I pray nobody here will be a proud obstacle to themselves or anybody else.